Welcome back to Cradle to Chaos. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I feel like we're getting over our technical difficulties, hopefully.
One day at a time, one day at a time.
Remote recording it's hard.
It's different.
Technology is hard.
Yeah, but you're super mega pregnant.
Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable. And also the weather's been like shit. So it's warmer today, which I'm very happy about, but like I just like don't want to leave my house this winter.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That's just
We
kind of
have a
how I am.
pretty cute reason to stay home soon.
Yes. Yes, yes. So
Are you
close.
getting excited?
I'm getting so excited. Yeah. I feel like it's like so close that like I can like it's single digits. Like I'm 31 weeks. And
Can I
you know what
tell?
I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you don't have that very long to go. Can I tell
Yeah.
a story about Millie?
Oh my gosh. Yes, but it might be my treat.
Oh, okay, well then I won't tell it. It probably
Yeah.
is.
It's probably yeah, you were there for the treat today. Well, I have a few treats, but that's one of them. But you can tell it. Yeah, go ahead. You tell it.
Okay, I'm gonna tell Brittany's
Because
treat,
I have
even though
multiple treats.
okay.
So,
Brittany had her baby shower over the weekend, and there were lots of really cute babies there. And by lots, I mean two, but they were both very
yeah.
cute. And Brittany at one point was holding one of the babies and she was sitting on the couch. So the baby was like kind of covering up her belly. And Millie came over to her and said, "The baby came out." It was so sweet.
So funny. And I was like, oh my God, did I just like scar my child? Like,
So funny.
because I kept like, talking about how we're gonna have a party for baby Sissy and whatever. And I was like, oh my God, did I just like scar her? Like she thinks like this is what happens at baby showers, like the baby actually is born. Like, what if she goes to a baby shower one day and she's like, why, where's the baby?
What if it was that easy though? You just throw a party and
Yeah,
the baby shows up.
that's kind of amazing. And people bring everything that you need so that you're like good to go. Like you
Right.
just have the baby
Like,
right then and there.
let me open
Honestly,
this bassinet so I can immediately use it.
not a bad idea. Do you think I can invite all of those same people to my scheduled C-section?
To your birth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I really actually kind of think that would be really great.
Amazing. Oh
But
my
yeah, that
God.
was really funny. What's going on in
Well,
your world? How was your day?
it was okay. It was kind of like a Monday of Mondays, but it was all right. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
How about you?
It was like really gloomy out.
I know. It's like warm but dark. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Yeah. I went to pick Millie up at like 5:20 and it was like pitch black.
Yeah, I picked up Lainey around the same time and she and Chloe. But
Yeah, I was like just Lainey.
when, when we went outside, she was like, "It's getting dark out here."
Yep.
Like,
Millie
whatever.
always goes, "It's nighttime out?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Sure.
"Yeah, sorry, girl."
Fortunately, this time of year, it's night
Yeah,
more day.
that could be a tantrum for all of us.
Yeah, for
But
real. Well,
what you
I'll
got
start.
for tantrums?
I don't, I, so my tantrum is Chloe. It's not anything specific, but she has just turned into such an instigator with Lainey. Like she
She's a
just,
little sister. She has to.
I know, but she just
It's
like,
our jobs.
she knows what sets her off and she just like pokes at her buttons. Like, for instance, if Lainey has a toy or something, Chloe will go up and take it from her. And then Lainey will lose her mind. And then Chloe will wait like a minute and then like go over and give it to her. Like nothing ever happened. Like,
Like she just wanted to get the reaction and the rise out of her.
let's see what happens if I do with this. And then she's like, okay, I'm tired of hearing it here.
That is like such little sister behavior though. Like totally
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Oh
She's
man, too
different.
funny. Yeah. My I actually like didn't have a ton of like tantrums this week. Knock on, I don't know what happened, some fluke in the universe, but I didn't have a ton of tantrums. But the one tantrum that continues every single day, and it's not even like a tantrum, it's actually more funny, is like with Elf on the Shelf. Um, we've been watching the Netflix show
Mhm.
or movie
Oh,
Elf on the Shelf, which is his name is Chippy in that show, which is why ours is named Chippy. But
got it.
anyway, so Chippy, they touch him and the little boy touches Chippy and then Chippy loses his magic in the Netflix show. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. So you're not allowed to touch the elf on the shelf. That's like a whole thing. So we taught Millie that. And so every single day, like when she goes and finds Chippy, the first thing out of her mouth, don't touch him.
That's so funny. That's how Lainey is. Chloe has been so good. I was nervous that this elf was just going to end up across the room because we've been like trying to put her on like higher levels, but you like run
Yeah.
out of places. So I'm
Yep.
like, during the school days, we've been getting a little bit more adventurous. I'm like, they're only home like for 2 hours out of the
Yeah.
day. Like you can survive, right?
Right, right.
And she's been really good. She like goes up to her and points, and she tries to say Elsa, but every single day, Lainey says, "Chloe, remember, you can look at her, but you can't touch her."
It's so funny. It like sticks in their brains.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Millie will go like look at Bogey, like our dog. Don't touch him. Or Matt, don't touch him. You can't touch him. He'll lose his magic.
Aw, that's so
It's
sweet.
very funny.
Let's see. My is that well, was that your tantrum?
Yeah.
Okay. My treat is for Lainey. So I love this age that she's at now, especially like with the Christmas season. So we've been introducing her to a bunch of different Christmas movies, and she is like such a movie girl. So we've been watching, like we watched Home Alone the other day with lots of like muting because I forget how many like bad words are in that movie, but she loved it. And she especially loves Elf, the one with Will Ferrell.
Oh my
Obsessed
gosh.
with Elf. And now every night when we put her to sleep, I'm always like, okay, good night. I love you. And she goes, I love you. I love you. I love you. And
That's so cute.
the first time she did it, I was like, why are you yelling at me? And then I was like, oh, you're talking from the movie.
He was doing the elf. Oh my God, that's so cute.
Funny.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. We need to watch Elf. We actually put it on the other day, but I don't know how much she actually watched it.
Gotcha.
We'll have
What
to
do you
do
got?
that. So, well, one of them was baby shower thing. And she said, the baby, it came out when I was holding one of my friend's baby girls. Um, So we went and saw Santa on Friday, and I realized this episode will probably drop after Christmas, so apologies for that. But we went to see Santa, and she got so shy when we got up there. She was so excited leading up to it, like kept talking about it, like was so pumped. As soon as she saw him, she just went like shy, like she was just like
Oh,
almost just like shocked, just like, oh my God, it's him, you know?
it's being a
Um,
celebrity.
yeah, really. And then so she sat on his lap or whatever, and like he wasn't like he looked like a really good Santa, but he didn't like engage as much as like I would have like kind of hoped. Like he wasn't like I don't know, I feel like he like struggled to understand her, which is fair. She's 3 years old. But like he was like, "So, what do you want for Christmas?" And she just like paused for a while, and then she goes, "Lollipops."
I love that.
And he had like no idea what she said because it was kind of like gibberish, but like obviously I knew what it was. And I was like, she said lollipops. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I've had weirder ones. He's like, I've had hot chocolate before.
It's so funny.
So yeah, I
Oh
just thought
my
that was
gosh.
cute.
One of my friends took her kiddos to see Santa recently, and she told me that he got very shy when he got up there and wouldn't say anything. So Santa was like, "Do you want a car?" Like try to like get something out of him, and he was like, "Do you want me to just take something out of my sleigh and surprise you?" And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's what I want." So he was talking about the whole time, and I'm like, honestly, that makes it easy for you.
That's actually kind of awesome. Yeah. You're like,
So,
well, you didn't tell Santa what you wanted, so he's gonna go home and write a letter.
hmm probably.
Um, But I feel like so today's topic is like stranger danger and like how do we teach our kids stranger danger versus like being nice or like who's the safe person and who's not. And
Mhm.
it just like kind of like dawned on me this weekend when we saw Santa. I'm like, this is a complete stranger to her. It's also a
Yeah.
complete stranger to me. And I'm telling her to go sit on this man's lap who she doesn't know, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like the reason I struggle with this topic so much is because I feel like I send mixed messages
Oh,
because
for
as a
sure.
parent, it's really hard because like, okay, so we also did like a Polar Express train ride and there were like two Elf on the Shelves, like like people dressed as elf on the shelf and
Yeah.
like a few other elves and like people dressed as them and I was like, "Oh, do you want to go say hi?" and like encouraging her to like go up and hug strangers. You know what I mean? And like I
Yeah.
understand that's different because like I'm with her, they're dressed up, it's festive. Like I know it's different, but like that's where I really struggle because I feel like it's like how is she ever going to know what the line is if I don't teach her that?
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I totally feel that. We think about this, we talk about this all the time. We're like, this is such a strange concept when we're like, hey, but I don't think it's any different from like when you go to Disney and they, want to
Yeah.
take pictures with all the characters and
You encourage
um
them to walk up to strangers.
yeah. And so I was like researching this a little bit and they say to just like make sure you define it in a way that makes it simple for them. So like
Yeah.
stranger is somebody you don't know or haven't met before. So, I mean, that's literally anybody. But when you
Yep.
think about it, a stranger like starts as their teacher. Like, their teacher is a stranger to them. So it's just like,
Exactly.
it's just because we do this too. Like when we're in the restaurants, everybody wants to say hi to Chloe and we're always like,
Yeah.
hey, say hi or wave. And
Exactly.
but like,
Give them a
teach,
high five.
right.
Like,
Yeah. So like teaching them to be friendly, but like hoping that they don't do that when you're not around.
exactly. And I'm hoping that's like the big like difference for them is like, oh, mommy and daddy aren't here. But to your point, daycare, they go to daycare. She probably has like 10 teachers in and out all day, like
Yeah.
support staff and like special program teachers, things like that. So it's like I'm not there. And like those teachers are only safe people, quote unquote, because I've left her with them and told her that they're safe people, but like she's
Yeah.
3 years old. I think
Right.
a lot of this, like I did a lot of research too, and I think a lot of it, like they're too young to really understand yet, but like I want to
Yes.
instill it in her
Yeah.
before, you know?
Yeah. And it's hard because like they don't necessarily understand a complete thought yet or like something this deep and complex. But
Exactly.
like stranger danger, and a lot of people have gotten away from saying stranger danger. Now it's stranger anxiety or like whatever you want to call it.
Wait,
Uh,
what, really?
yeah. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
The whole point of it is to recognize a potential threat or, to keep them safe.
Right.
But the goal isn't to make them afraid of people, but it's to help them understand when they should be cautious. So I
Exactly.
um there does have to be a balance between like just friendly behavior and like warmth. Um and I feel like there is a certain point where you'll see kiddos like willing to hug everybody and then suddenly they're like, I don't know about that. Um
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like I mean, she's always been a cautious kiddo, but like there's always that turning point, and it's usually that like 6 month to around a year, like around the time that they start getting separation
Oh,
anxiety,
yeah.
like they're not as willing to like go to strangers. So like I feel like it comes naturally, but uh,
Yeah.
I think like to your point, it's important to encourage them to be polite and say hello, wave, and like be social because that's important in life. But
Right.
it needs to be done with the understanding that they should always check with a trusted adult before going further than that. Like it's okay
Exactly.
to say hi to a stranger, but don't walk out the door with them. Like,
Right. But like to your earlier point where it was like you were saying at like restaurants and stuff, like if somebody comes up to Millie like or the waitress or whatever and it's like, "Oh, hi, like what's your name?" Like she's gonna tell them her name. And
yeah,
if they say, "How old are you?" she's gonna tell them how old she is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm hoping like this same way that like stranger danger or whatever, like kind of is instilled in like infants, like when they reach 6 months or a year or whatever. I'm hoping like something like that clicks when they turn like 4 or 5 or something.
yeah. Well, that's
Like just
what
that intuition.
yeah. Well, and I am worried about literally everything. I made a TikTok about this once before because if like Lainey or I mean Chloe, even if they ever got like lost or separated, we taught like Lainey knows our names. Like she knows that I'm Kelsey and Adam is Adam because what would they do if they didn't? They'd say, "Who's your mom? Like what's your mommy's name?" And it would, "Mommy?" Like like just
Yeah.
having like skills like that in case something does go
Oh, that's
wrong, like they
good.
do need to tell like a trusted adult or a police officer or like something,
That's
um,
a good idea. I've
get them a
never
little
taught me.
closer to us than looking for mommy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never taught Millie about that.
It's
That's a good
it,
idea.
it was annoying for a while because she would only call us by our first names, but now it's back to normal.
That's so
Um,
funny.
something else I was reading about is trying it, and this is difficult, but trying to teach your toddler that you're not labeling someone as like good or bad, but
Hmm.
just to like be um like have some self-awareness when something doesn't feel right to them. So
Right.
to the point or like have it being empowered to say no or like ask for help or say like I want my mom or I want my dad. And I really struggle with the it's okay to say no thing. And
Yes.
I was thinking about this the other day because Lainey's teachers were telling me that she was being sassy one day, which is no surprise. And I was like, oh, what was going on? They're like, she was just saying no a lot. And then, so we were having a whole conversation. We're like, you shouldn't say no to your teachers. And I'm like, well, you can say no if you like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like really struggled with that topic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want her to feel like she has to be like subdued to anything anyone asks her to do. And then you get into
Right.
a whole other realm of things. But um,
Consent and all that
yeah,
fun stuff.
yeah, I
Oh,
struggled with that.
parenting is
Like,
so hard.
because I know, I was talking to her and I was like, you should not tell your teachers no. And like, as I'm saying it, I'm like, why would I say that?
Right. Because,
You
like,
know,
yeah, exactly. And I feel like as
you
a kid,
told me to say yes.
right, right. It's like, I think it all comes down to like the feeling. Like, if it doesn't feel right, you don't have to be polite.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the biggest thing that I like want to teach Billy is like, if it doesn't feel right, it's okay to be short or to say, just say no, thank you. Like, you just really have to
Yeah.
go off those like gut feelings. And it's just like, I feel like as a parent, this is the first of many times we're going to be like, well, we can only do so much in this situation. Like,
Right.
she kind of has to do a lot of
hmm
it herself.
It's interesting because I've had this conversation a lot with Lainey when it comes to like her friends. I'm like, if somebody like pushes you or hits you or like you tell them no, thank you, I don't like that. Like that's my body, and make sure you tell your teacher. Um, so it's just an interesting dynamic. Like if an adult is making you uncomfortable, like they have to have the confidence to be able to say the exact same thing, and it's
Right.
hard. It's really
Exactly.
hard.
Another thing I was re when I was researching that came up was like role playing, like, acting out different like scenarios, which I think Millie's too young to really do this yet, but I think that's something that like I will be doing within the next few years. Just like
Yeah,
if mommy's not around and somebody comes up to you, like I don't know when any of this would happen, by the way. God forbid anything happen, but like I just want her to be like, we always go to the worst case as parents.
totally. I mean, you have to. It's
Yeah.
part of the journey.
Yeah. I also like don't know how to teach like how do you teach them to recognize when somebody is good versus when somebody is like if like something doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that's just something that is natural. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
Just it is what it is.
It
Um,
is what it is.
yeah. Um, I was also talking about like um just keeping things simple because I think you and I both tend to
Hmm.
overthink.
Oh, really? Us?
I know, it's the craziest concept ever, but obviously toddlers need a lot of repetition to like grasp a concept, but um saying like simple things like only talk to strangers if mommy or daddy is with you and just like saying it over and over and over again or like they
Yeah.
should never go anywhere with someone they don't know. Um
Yeah.
like
That's
more
true.
like
I went like way Yeah, I went way complicated. I guess that's like very don't take anything from strangers. Don't go in a car with anyone you don't know. Like those are
like
pretty
break it down a little bit more.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like, well,
I'm over here and like
mommy said not to go in a car with anyone I don't know, but I'll walk down the street with someone I don't know.
yeah.
You didn't say anything about that.
Right.
And then what else was I reading? And like how important nonverbal cues can be too. So just like making
Hmm.
eye contact and smiling when meeting new people, but you don't have to touch them. So like
Hmm.
it's great to smile, but like if you don't want to give anyone a hug, if you don't want a high five, and this is something that I really struggle with, like even in my own family. And I think this is a newer concept in our generation
Yes.
so many times, like family members, and I know they don't mean anything by it, but they'll ask for a hug and
Hmm.
they don't want to give a hug, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna steal a hug," and I'm like, "I know you don't mean anything by it,
Forcing
but
it.
it's not teaching them anything."
Yep.
And it's really really hard to, for me, it's really hard to like correct that in the moment because it's awkward,
Yeah.
and I don't. We talk about it after the fact, but I
Yep.
like me, Adam will, but. And then we try to talk to Lainey, like if it's okay to say I don't want a hug.
Yeah.
Um, but that's hard for me.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel like I usually will just, my first like instinct will be like, oh, do you want to give a high five? Like we'll start
Yeah.
with that. And then
Mhm.
like if she, does the high five or whatever, like that, I kind of just like leave it at that. I'm kind of like, if she wants to give a hug, like she'll do it, or if they ask her for a hug. But even with like my friends' kids, I like don't even go in for hugs anymore. I'm just like, hey, like, how's it going? I just like put my hand out, like, can I have a high five? And if they say no, I'm like, okay, yeah, get it. Like, it's definitely a new concept though, because I feel like before it was like you were expected to give hugs and kisses to all of your family members.
That and like bargaining with
Mm.
those things is really weird. Like, I'll give you a sucker if you give me a hug, or like, I don't know. It's just like, stop.
It's
It's
weird.
icky.
Yeah, it gives the ick now that we're in 2024, almost
I know. And that's
2025.
sad, but it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all hard.
Yeah. And I know. But I think we're also lucky that our kids are already like socialized in these situations because I feel like this is something that they talk about in daycares and schools too, just like
True.
naturally come up in their curriculum and, things like that. So we have people helping us and I don't
Yeah,
know. It
that's
is.
true.
It's really hard.
It's really hard. I feel like when I was growing up, it was like you just like didn't say no to like authority figures or like quote unquote authority figures, but that was pretty much like any adult. And now
Yeah.
it's like I don't really feel like that was right to
Yeah, I
teach.
know. But it's hard because you want to be like, you can always talk to a police officer. Like, police officers
Yeah.
are, and like they're safe. And then you have situations where, like, it used to be really common, or like, there's a lot of areas where we live where it's common for like kids to walk home from school because they're so
Hmm.
close to their school. And if they catch themselves in a situation, wanting them to know that like not every stranger is bad. So you have like mixed signals to where like if you're
Right.
in a situation where like a certain person is making you feel uncomfortable, but there's other adults around, like it's okay to go to somebody else to ask for help, even if you don't know them. But like
I know. Like
it's
some
hard.
strangers are fine, some
Yeah.
are not.
But you'll never know. Um,
Your
I
hot messes.
I know. One other thing I was reading that I thought was a really great idea was teaching your kiddo to ask questions. So if like there's other people around saying things like who are you or where's my mommy and daddy or like things like that to like kind of get the attention of somebody else around them or just
Yeah.
I was reading something, this was a while ago. It was a really good thing to teach your kiddo to do is to yell mom because that
Mm,
generally gets the attention of every woman in the room, and men too, instead
that's a
of
great idea.
them just screaming because people tend to ignore that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, if I'm in a store,
Hmm.
I'm usually just like, I don't want to, like, I get it. I don't want to give you any extra attention or like make you feel like a bad parent because your kid is screaming and that happens. And so I tend to like avoid.
Yep.
But if someone is like, mom, or like, I want my mom, or you're not my mom, or, I'd be like,
Oh
hmm,
yeah, you would look twice
yeah,
for sure.
totally. Yeah.
Yep.
And then,
Yeah,
the women will take that person down in a heartbeat.
easily. There is nobody stronger than a mama
Mm-mm.
bear.
Mm-mm-mm. I,
Sometimes Matt will like Millie just like is very much a mama's girl, and sometimes she'll be like, I want mama, like in public, like while Matt's trying to do something, and we're always like, oh my God, do people think he's like kidnapping her? Like, so I was like, no, I'm right here, I'm right here, everything's fine. That's your daddy, it's fine. That's your dad.
that's funny.
Oh man. All
It's
right,
hard.
well,
I feel like the only thing you can do is just like talk about it
talk about
constantly
it.
all the time and just like reinforce the direction that you decide to go with it because you just, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I feel
I
like there's
don't,
got to be like kids' books too, right?
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. But like, I think just anytime you can give your toddler a choice too, and if they feel comfortable saying hi to somebody, or instead of saying like say hi, you can say
Hmm.
things like, do you want to say hi? And like you don't
Yeah,
have to, if you don't want to, but I am very much the like say hi person.
I know. And then I always feel like dumb afterwards. I'm like, why did I make her say hi to
I
this person?
know.
Like, she should not have to say hi to anybody she doesn't want to. But then it goes back to the politeness thing where you're like, you
I
don't want
know.
your kid to
Which,
come off as a jerk.
which is so nice, but also not to
It's
everybody.
right. It's such like a, it's such a
Vicious
cycle.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
So we solved nothing today is kind of
Yes.
where we're landing with this. Maybe other people will have better ideas.
Yes, especially listeners, if you have like older kids and you've already like had these conversations, like please,
Yes.
can you just let us know what we're supposed to do? Because we need help.
Teach us. Teach us.
Teach us. All right, what are we going to talk about next week, Kels?
It's actually a good segue into what I want to talk about. I want
Oh,
to talk about the transition from like babies, toddlers to like kids. Because I feel like we're like in this weird transition with Lainey. We're like, she's like a little girl
yeah.
now. And I'm struggling with, and I keep seeing these TikToks everywhere. And this is like a seasonal thing that I'm bringing up, but like people who are having like conversations with their kids to like explain Santa and explain like how this all works. And I'm like, I never had those conversations as a kid. It was just like assumed that you would figure it out. I mean, like things
Yeah.
like, when do you get rid of the baby monitor? And I know we've kind of talked about that a little bit, but
Hmm.
just like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, when do you start giving them more privacy and autonomy and like actually explaining how
Hmm.
the world works? That's what I want.
Right. We are like teetering right on that. Like we're so close. I feel like 4 and 5, like that's kind of when they become like kids. Like
That's when you like send them off to kindergarten and you don't get 100 updates a day. And I don't think I'm going to handle that well.
definitely not, especially if you have to send them on a bus. Like
Ugh,
on a bus by themselves.
I'm getting started. I just,
Yeah, I'm gonna cry.
I just let some of my family members drive my children for the first time, and Lainey's 3.5. So I'm going to struggle.
Wait, for the first time?
For the first time ever. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a
That's
psychopath.
funny.
I'll admit it.
Yeah, I guess just my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
But
Mm-mm.
yeah, it's okay. I'm a psychopath too. You're in good company. It's fine.
Oh, well, we
All
appreciate
right.
all of you, all three of you out there that are listening.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Brittany's mom and my mom.
All right. Well, if you are listening, Mom besties, you're doing great as always. Don't
Yep,
talk to
yeah.
strangers.
Unless you want to be nice.
Unless it's okay to say no, Kelsey. It's okay.
All right, until next time, have a great night. Thanks for listening and follow us on our socials.